back to the newsroom now, and Faith Boone is back there.
I know where you're going. Those are good questions.
Well, we brought that up a little bit last night. Faith, what's the good word on Twitter this morning?
Well, on Twitter, we're not getting too much. We're getting a lot more on Facebook this morning, actually. And really, it's a lot of people saying that we should have put Warrior in at the very beginning of the game instead of waiting until Johnny fell on his head and got a hamstring injury.
Are any people questioning Johnny's injuries at all?
I know
Are people questioning it? Okay, so
only
Faith, but you
because
realize
of the fact that it looked like he kind of slid across on his head, and then it was a hamstring injury, and then he looked like he was walking fine afterwards.
Okay, but he said 2 plays earlier, the injury actually did not happen on the play that he left the game on.
Oh, okay.
So he's saying that it happened on the Gordon pass that was called back.
That was actually a series before, too.
It was a series before. He threw the ball to the bottom of the screen, and he fell down is where a lot of people were thinking the injury. Now, Andy, and I'm asking everybody involved, did anybody see it was reported that he had a head injury?
No.
Because there were some people that were kind of saying, is it a head injury? Is it a hamstring? I think it's his leg, obviously.
About a head injury.
Right. But I think it's the leg. I don't like questioning people about when they were hurt. But if you hurt a hamstring, you're not running to the sideline the way he ran to the sideline.
Exactly.
That's all I would say.
Here's my point on the whole thing. Look, I think if there is a hamstring injury, and I'm assuming
it is.
I'm going to say there's not. There's a hamstring injury there. It just works out to be kind of convenient at this point. I think there's nothing wrong with it. Look, you saw him for a game and a half. You saw what his deficiencies are going to be. You're not going to the playoffs. This is a trial and error thing. I think the coaching staff knew he wasn't ready. I think he knew he wasn't ready to a point. In fact, I'll even go back to the beginning of the season when Johnny said, I'm not ready. So now, hang on, you just keep going forward in this thing. We got to see him for a little bit last week. You got to start this week. You go back to Brian this week. Now you have all this tape for him to go back and look and say, here's what you did wrong here. You now have an entire offseason to try to rebuild him like the $6 million man.
Eric had something.
I got a question for you guys, and Faith, put this on social media. I want to see what people are saying.
Oh, he's barking out some orders there, Faith. Way to go, Eric.
Hey, I don't mind. I like that stuff.
Is it good? I mean, it's not good, but is it good to see Johnny Manziel actually fail? Because will this make him work harder in the offseason to try and correct his problem and maybe down the road be a better quarterback?
It's $1 million question, Eric. It's the $1 million question.
Well, wait, before I put this on social media, what do you think, Eric? Do you actually think he's going to change his behavior because he sucks?
I'm the referee. I don't answer questions.
Oh, you can't do that.
There you go.
Honestly, I don't got a good feeling. I don't have a good feeling about it. I think Manziel is realizing that the game is too big for him. Maybe he can fix it, but right now I think when he ran to the sideline and hurt his hamstring, he's like, wow, there are linebackers that can run as fast as me. And
Luke Kuechly didn't hit him, but Luke Kuechly made the play. That is amazing. That is an eye-opener. I don't care what anybody says. That was an eye-opener that Kuechly ran him down. And now, are people complaining about the play call? And I just got to get this off my chest. That
was actually something that I wanted to point out, too, is that somebody said that we totally should have gotten that.
Well, here's what I'll say. Everyone was so excited. What are two of the main reasons everybody was excited about Manziel? Oh, he can use his legs when the plays aren't there. Then we get mad that they call a play to use his legs. Don't you feel?
I heard that this morning,
I'm not a big Kyle Shanahan fan. I'll say that up front. But I thought that's a play where they're going, hey, we're going to give you something that you're used to doing. We're going to give you a couple blocks. One is 16, I think, was on the outside on the safety. That's who is 16?
Hawkins.
Hawkins lets his safety get off of him. If he gets by, if Hawkins holds his block and he gets upfield, Kuechly probably knocks him into next week.
Sure.
But I can't fault Shanahan. What do you want? Shanahan's telling you, I'm calling plays that Johnny can run, right? I don't have a problem with him. Do you have a problem with him running that?
I don't have any problem with him running at all. He's a running quarterback.
Right.
Look, even Brian Hoyer was running yesterday.
Yeah.
How about that? How about Brian Hoyer, who had the ACL injury, is now a year removed from the ACL injury, was a little bit more aggressive running yesterday. Faith, what else do you have? Because I want to get to Kenny here. What else you got?
There was just, other than the multiple memes that we got yesterday on Johnny, needing a Snickers, maybe staying towards women's aerobics and things like that, there are a lot of people saying that it's definitely not just the quarterback. The focus on the quarterback is a little much, and it's the entire team. It's not, we did have a decent year, but we still could do a lot better. The team is still growing. It's nice to see them growing, but there's still more for them to do.
Faith,
All right,
is it a meme or a meme? Like
Meme.
it's a meme.
It's not a mem or a meme.
I've been
It's a
needing
meme.
you all week long. I
Second
want
silent.
Okay, well, tell me what does it stand for? That's what I want to know.
Touchdown basket.
Why did I get a flag on that?
Okay, well, maybe the flag is for
Ask the
me
question. She doesn't know.
because
No, it's
he
for
can't throw it that far. But I will find out and get back to you. I'm sure
Sweet.
that there's a horrible definition in Urban Dictionary on what meme is. It's probably something.
Oh yeah, when you read that,
You can do it on this
And
show.
do it
It
in a
doesn't
timely
matter.
fashion because another flag will be coming if it's a delay of game.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
thanks,
All right,
Faith.
talk to you later. You know what? Here's where I'm going to disagree.
Uh-oh.
On it's the quarterback. We're spending too much time on the quarterback. You ask yourself this fundamental question.
All right.
Ready?
Okay.
Did the team look better when Brian Hoyer got in the game yesterday? Yes or no?
That's easy.
Yes or no?
Can I be Eric? Yes, they looked much better.
All right, so you're going to tell me that the scrutiny of the quarterback at this point is not worthy?
No, it's
They
legit.
are who we thought they were.
Thank you.
All right, let's get some more in-depth information. It's always, oh, look at the
Darkness.
hat. Look at the hat on
LeBron's got a hat.
No, not you.
LeBron's got a hat. Look at it.
That's awesome. Where'd you get that at?
Covering up that hairline.
It's what it's all about. I'll say it for both of us, although I don't know if I want to speak for him because it might be in a negative fashion, so I'll just leave it at that.
I love the road man.
That was the quote
That
of
was
the
the
week.
quote of the week. Why you asking all them negative questions?
What are you supposed to ask after a 29-point loss? What's their positive? I mean, the coach used those terms, not me, so I'm just wanting to see if the superstar leader of the team felt the same way the coach did. How did I know he was going to go absolutely crazy?
I thought what you did pulled out the best of both of you guys. I thought it was. I really did. I think because you shouldn't be embarrassed when you lose by 29. I don't care how many rings you have.
He'll worry
Here's
about
the
it when the
thing,
championship
guys.
rolls around.
LeBron, I understand. He's been to the mountaintop and he's been a champion twice. He's lost by 36 points in an NBA Finals game. So to him, probably not, but we got an idea of the way David Blatt was feeling and the way LeBron was feeling, and they weren't the same.
Right.
But since that loss, they've won 2 in a row and a big win yesterday over Memphis. So maybe David Blatt used us as members of the media, bringing that question up, and it's fired up the team. And if that's the case, I'm glad to help.
All right, let's get to your keys to the game from yesterday from the Browns and the Browns loss.
Well, the keys are stop the run and run the football because we all know the Browns' offense is predicated on the running game. They've got to be able to run the ball to throw the ball, and they really weren't able to establish the run yesterday, and it hurts Johnny Manziel, it hurts Brian Hoyer, it hurts whoever is at quarterback trying to run this offense, and yes, they scored a touchdown yesterday. We applaud that. Yay, they got a touchdown. They got in the end zone. But still, what's that, 1 touchdown in 10 quarters for this offense? So if you can't run it, they can't score. And they weren't able to do that yesterday, and that was costly. And then they couldn't stop the run. Second week in a row, they've given up over 200 yards rushing, and that's a killer for any defense. When you can't stop the run, it's just a killer. And Johnny had to make plays yesterday, and he didn't make plays. And I wasn't thrilled when they made this draft pick back in May. Using a first-round pick on Johnny Manziel. I don't agree with Merle Hodge that, he's a 6th-round draft pick coming off 2 years in college and 1 as a Heisman Trophy winner, but he's not first-round talent. And we're seeing that. His size is an issue, and that's not me saying that. That was the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals bringing that up. Yes, he apologized for using the term midget, but he got his point across, and they weren't fearful of Johnny Manziel in any way, shape, or form in Cincinnati. His size is an issue as far as seeing over the line of scrimmage and down the field. Also, his size, his body shape is an issue. Yesterday, he gets knocked out. I don't know what the over-under was on how many quarters he would play before he got hurt, knocked out of the game. We saw that happen in quarter number 2 of his second start yesterday. So it just was not a good day again for the Browns. And 11 straight losses over 3 seasons now in the month of December. That's winning time. That's playoff time. That's getting you into the postseason time, and the Browns aren't even close to that. I think what we saw early might have been fool's gold, and the Browns are who we thought they were, a 6-7 win football team.
Question for you guys, real quick. What do you guys do with Johnny Manziel? I mean, you have to tailor your team around him.
What do you do with Johnny Manziel? You let him sit next week.
You can't
You
build
let
a
him
team
Here's the
around
thing,
his
though. I
hamstring
mean,
better.
You can't build a team around what he's done so far.
So
though.
you're
can't.
just you're not committed to him long term. You're not going to draft guys that fit.
Oh,
his
you're committed to him
offense.
for at least next season.
So is the
I'm not.
draft going to be committed?
That's what I was going to ask you, Kenny.
I mean, unless you're going to trade him, what are you going to get for him,
What do
Kenny?
you do?
He becomes a backup for me, and I look for another quarterback, whether it's bringing back Brian Hoyer, and I doubt that's going to happen. And by the way, you're right. The team did look better with Hoyer in at quarterback yesterday. Not a lot better, let's be honest. He made one pass on broken coverage, and at least he got it there, and they caught it, and they ran for a touchdown. But it didn't look that much better. But for me, I don't think they have the quarterback of the future on this team right now. So they either have to explore trades, free agency, or start looking into this draft with a Hundley, with a Mariota, whoever might be available for them with those 2 picks. Get creative, use those 2 picks and maybe something else to move up to see if they can find a quarterback, because I don't think Johnny Manziel is the quarterback of the future from what I saw in the preseason, the way he practiced all season, the 2 starts, and what we saw in limited playing time in that Buffalo game.
Here's a question I got for everybody. Kenny, we'll give it to you since we have you on, and I want to ask Tim this too. Do you guys point the finger at all at the Browns coaching staff for him not being prepared at this point in the season? We all knew what they were drafting in May. We all knew that, Tim said it. We've all watched the fundamentals of him in college, and we knew he had these issues. To me, it's alarming that it's week 17, and he looked the way he looked. When you drafted him, I always go back to when the Browns drafted Josh Gordon, and I always remember going to the GM, and he didn't like it. He didn't go at me like LeBron went at you, and I said to him, I go, hey, this kid's had a lot of problems. If you guys set up a system to keep him out of trouble and to talk to, I thought about Sam Rutigliano, where they, when guys with drugs, they came with the inner circle and a way to help
trust.
Right.
Yep.
And I kind of said that to him, and they looked at me like I had 8 heads, and I'm going, well, you can't bring a guy in there like that and not set up something for him. You can't bring in Johnny Manziel and not almost daily he should be going through footwork fundamentals every day the way he looks. I'm embarrassed that he looks the way he looks in week 17.
I agree with you guys. I tweeted out yesterday, did I just see Johnny Manziel fall down throwing the football yesterday? And that's what happened. He tried to put so much on that throw to Josh Gordon that he over his stride, he was too long, and he overstepped it, and the throw was low. His foot planted and slipped, and that supposedly is where he hurt the hamstring, and then he continued to play, and he fell down. I mean, when's the last time you remember a guy just stepping and throwing and falling down because he was off balance in making the throw, even though his foot slipped? The stride was too. He has so many fundamental issues, guys. With under center, playing under center is an issue. His 3, 5, 7 step drops, setting up, throwing off his back foot, then overstriding on that pass. And you're right, Trey. If you knew that once you drafted him, why weren't you holding him after practice and working specific? Now, maybe they were. I don't know. I wasn't out there. Heck, I wasn't even allowed in practice earlier this year with all the restrictions because they drafted Johnny Manziel. Oh my goodness, So maybe they were working with him and it hasn't worked out. Has he put in the extra time after what they worked with him? Probably not, from what we're hearing. So for me, he's not the quarterback of the future for this team at all.
All right, let me bring this up. Hang on one second. Listen, let's go back to this question. And I think it goes back to Terrence West. I think it goes back to Justin Gilbert. And I think it goes back to Johnny Manziel. And the question that we asked about Johnny Manziel is, is he ready? Was he ready? All these questions, okay? Here's what bothers me. He said yesterday after the game, I've been working hard for 2 weeks, okay? We saw that Mike Pettin was extremely hesitant about putting him in the game. Now, you said, should he have been ready on the coaching staff? I can talk to a kid, and I coach hockey. I can talk to him till I'm blue in the face. But if he doesn't want to listen, he's not going to do it. Here's the number one question I have going into the offseason when it comes to Johnny Manziel. Is he coachable? Is he coachable? That's my question.
As of right now, today on December 22nd, no, not really. I don't think so.
I mean, did it take him 16 weeks to realize that he needs to be the first one in the door and the last one out?
What bothers me, what if he had to come in a game in week 8 or week 9? We always talk about the backup being a play away. Did he not understand that he was so close to playing? That, to me, if I'm a teammate, I can't trust Johnny. Forget coaches. As a teammate, I'd go, hey, man, how the hell am I supposed to respect you or expect you to be ready when you're basically telling the whole world for the last 2 weeks, I'm really prepared? You could have played in week 8 or 9, Johnny, and he was not ready. That scares
Guys,
me.
what about this side of it? We've heard him say this has never happened to him before, right? He's never been shut out. He's never, struggled like this. So this is the first time maybe he's really facing adversity. I go back to when John Lucas, when they drafted Chris Mims. He's too pretty. I got to make him tough, and I can't. Remember that when Coach Luke used to say that when they drafted Mims? Because he grew up, in a family where he was well off, and everything just went so well for him. Well, same with Johnny, right? His family's pretty well off, and everything's just been so smooth, and I'm sure they got him the best coaching and everything like that, and he just stepped in, and he was a star on his team, and nothing ever went wrong, and he wins the Heisman as a redshirt freshman, and the celebrity status comes with it, and now all of a sudden he's finding out that it isn't that easy, and he doesn't know how to handle it, how to react, and how to practice. And so that makes you worry about a kid because can you ever toughen somebody up like that who's been handed it on a silver spoon his entire life?
Yeah. All right, Kenny, let me ask you this question before we let you go. And then we're going to be joined by Bill Powell he's the president of the Bull City Browns Backers Club. We're going to talk to him in just a second. If you think Brian Hoyer's not going to be here next year, okay, let's go on that assumption. Right. And Johnny Manziel's hurt. And Mike Pettin has been rewarding guys that play hard in practice. We've heard that Connor Shaw has been playing hard in practice. Connor Shaw may be here next year. It's the Ravens, so I'm real hesitant on saying this. Do you give Connor Shaw a shot next week?
He's the backup. Johnny Manziel, I don't think will play next week. I think Connor Shaw is your backup, and Brian Hoyer gets the start again. And you start Brian, and you go like David Blatt is. You go by feel of the game. If Brian Hoyer is playing well, you know what? You go with Brian Hoyer. You try and win the last game, finish 500, which would be 2 wins more than I thought they would get this year, and you try and build some momentum going into the offseason. But if Brian struggles, at this point, yes, Andy, because I remember you earlier in the year saying, they should have played Johnny Manziel when they were, winning games big and all that. And Andre and I disagreed because your starting quarterback, you let him get in the genuflect offense and win the game and don't worry about it. But in game number 16, when it really doesn't matter at this point anymore, if Hoyer struggles, then you throw Shaw in there for a half, tell him, hey, look, be ready. We may be going to you to see what you can do. Give him an opportunity, but I don't think he's the answer either.
All right, thanks, Kenny.